the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the PRL NASCAR Cup Series race from Texas. It is the penultimate race here for the PRL. I'm Terry Radford, joined alongside Derek Watson. I don't have your normal antidote because I'm not Joey Tebbin, and I don't write a big, long paragraph about it. But Derek, welcome to Texas, and welcome to the wonderful world of the Cup Series.
Right, welcome in to this here tonight. Everything's bigger in Texas, and probably so will be the action and the passing here on this track that has been repaved not so long ago, Terry.
Yeah, not too long ago. And if you caught our coverage Wednesday night for the Xfinity Series, you saw me. I led 14 laps around this wonderful racetrack. I'm a big fan of Texas, but we do have to take a look at what's next on our running list here. We're going to take a look at the schedule itself. Obviously, Texas, 150 laps, the penultimate race. We go to Charlotte next week, Derek. The championship's on the line, but we think Trent Dinkel has this one covered.
Yeah, more than likely, unless something goes really wrong tonight, that's probably going to happen. You see, he's got that big, massive lead there over Matthew Long with Pat Harvey in third. Now, the cool story to me is fourth, fifth, and sixth, Abner Acosta, Chris Hudson, and Eric Haag right there. That was a pretty close battle. Then Josh Bedino's in seventh, Luke Christian eighth, Jose Acosta in ninth, and then Bruno Mello rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, a close battle right there for that position. But you see the team standings here with private label Team Hype pulling a pretty decent margin over SGE Esports Pioneer with Dirty South Racing in third, RPM Motorsports Love Racing, SGE Entourage, SGE Esports Ironman, SGE Esports Apex, YSM, and Aero Kinetics round out the top 10. Good little fight here. Top three is pretty solidified, no way, and then you got the battle for fourth and fifth and sixth and all that, so forth and so on. We'll go on for the next two races. We'll see how it plays out. But we do have to thank the wonderful people who make this possible for all season long, and that all starts with Advanced Sim Racing. It's owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, for the casual gamers up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount code using the Precision5 code. And the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourselves in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. And Mecha Sim Hardware. Mechasim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for high-end pedal sets, hand brakes, or sequential shifters, visit Mechasim Hardware's eShop right now to get you up to speed. Wow, even with the thing, this is crazy. Maradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit Maradness.com. And Ninja Trader. Better futures start now. Trade the world's future markets with Ninja Trader. Visit ninjatrader.com to access unlimited free trade simulation. See, I freelanced it on Thursday. I get a script and I go off the rails and I screw it up entirely. But we're going to track some performance here in just a second as qualifying is about to get underway. And no surprise, Derek, P1 in the board, Trent Dinkle.
Yeah, that's right. Trent Dinkle is leading us around here, and we'll see here. We're going to watch this car come out here. This is, of course, got that beautiful private label logo on the back, and we'll see different cars coming off pit road here as qualifying is underway.
Yeah, Trent, we get the notes from Nick Hunter, my teammate over at Whataback, who I've managed to wreck a couple times this season in the Xfinity Series. I got to wreck each other in the Cup yet, but Trent races EPI setups. Very fast, has a win here at Texas earlier in the week in A Open. Obviously set it when the track was green. He wanted to be the first one on the racetrack here as his second lap was his fastest lap early on. Long run has been his thing, and I've talked to him quite a bit this week, and you have as well, Derek. He's got a fast piece.
Yeah, I would talk more about that as the night goes on, but he does have a fast piece, and he's confident in what he's doing. So yeah, this could be an interesting race to see how this works out. This would be a track, Terry, that has multiple lanes and multiple grooves of racing built into it. And these corners are slightly different. There's different bankings in 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. So it's possible that someone's going to be set up for maybe 1 and 2, but not 3 and 4. We'll have to wait and see if someone can make a move here, either in qualifying or as the race goes on, to close up that gap on Trent Dinkle.
Going to be interesting to see how this goes early on in qualifying. Chris Hudson holds this lead by 9/100ths of a second over Dinkle, who's fourth, who was fastest. Waldo Walden puts the second fastest lap time down. And this is one of those racetracks where the second lap could potentially be faster, as indeed a good pickup there for the 9. Jeff Chandler picked up as well. Troy Torgerson picked up just a smidge on his first lap. So second lap seemed to play dividends. And you know what? I do understand that this racetrack is going to be very different. I can't figure turns 1 and 2 out, but I can figure 3 and 4 out. And we'll see what driver can do that tonight.
Of course, I think it's been, 5 or 6 years since the repay, but one of the biggest differences is 1 and 2, and that exit of 1 and 2. It's much wider, it's a little flatter, the transition is easier. There was a time when racing this car, or especially the trucks here at Texas, when you could get the car looped around out of 1 and 2 because of that transition, and they fixed that with the repave. So in some ways, this track is better than what it used to be, in my opinion.
The PRL never fails to do anything bad. They always seem to put very, very good races on it. It doesn't matter what, they put good races on at Kentucky when people were calling it to be a parking lot, and they figure it out. You take a look at Ken Ayland here in that number 19. That's a sharp looking paint scheme. It goes back to the Matt Kenseth days in that Toyota Camry, but at 19th on the board, so 19 for 19. Gets loose off of 4. A lot of rear wheel spin there. Got to slow down on that second lap as Tristan Callahan puts it 22nd. See if he can pick up on the second lap.
Yeah, that's a pretty odd thing for mile and a half tracks to think that your second lap could be faster, but with the way this track is laid out and how wide open it is very possible here that your second lap is going to be faster. So we'll wait and see what comes around here.
He didn't go nowhere on that one. They actually stayed the same. It was a 30.120 was what he ended up getting there. Not the qualifying I'm sure he wanted, but unfortunately, it's the qualifying he's going to get. As you take a look at Charles Sumner here, great admin, and actually I misspoke. He actually did jump up. He jumped up to a 29.535, so jumped up to the 16th position. Timing had to get, I'm 10 seconds behind for some reason. Charles Sumner, good admin here in the number 98 Tropicana Chevy. He does a lot of good things, and I race around him quite a bit on Wednesday in the Xfinity Series. He might surprise us here tonight.
Yeah, Charles has that ability, and sometimes I have a lot of respect for admins who also race, Terry. It's a hard job to want to be able to get your head into the driver mode and be involved in the car and who's around you and the lines, but also having that admin hat always on and always thinking about admin stuff. It's a challenge that I think you don't realize until you try to do it for a race or two.
Yeah, I don't think I've got it in me. I could barely focus on the racetrack when you're racing. But we look at Johan Seminaro, who just put it P2 there in the number 12 machine. I believe I said that name correctly. Not too far off, 7/100ths off of the pole. We're going to take a look at our starting lineup here. As well, Trent Dinkle will win the pole here. No surprise, he was the fastest in practice. Johan Seminaro is going to be P2 in the YS Motorsports yellow machine with Eric Hogg, Pat Harvey, James O'Brien, and Troy Torgerson. Rounds out your top 6 with Chris Hudson. And 7th, Joshua Daniels, Waldo Walden, Robert Beesall Jr., Skip Gandy, and Jose Acosta is rounded at the top 12. Abner Acosta, Jose's brother, Jose Medina, Jeff Chandler, Lou Christian, Tristan Callahan, and Jay McDonald rounds out the top 18. Starting down there at 19th is Chad Kibbe with Mike Witt, Charles Sumner, the great admin, Ken Aland, Tom Amasi, 23rd. Amasi was always there. Rafael Rodriguez will round out 24th. And the rest of your field, Eric Papanow, Rusty Robinson, and Richard Pruitt. And it is Seminario. So I'll say that one correctly, starting P2, a Seminario. Eric, this is going to be fun. Track temp is low. It's not what it was in the regular sessions for our Wednesday guys racing 117-degree track temp. It is 73 degrees, and the racing probably is going to be on fire.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a lot of grip in this track, Terry. So there'll be a lot of people trying moves and really holding it out a little longer than maybe what you're used to at Texas in the daytime, because they can hold a line and believe it'll stick. So that'll be fun to see. It could also mean you're going to burn up some tires quicker. You get a lot of confidence in what you're doing, and you start to really just feel confident, and you drive it way harder, and you burn up some tires faster. So across these 150 laps here, that's an important key, is how well can you manage those tires.
It'll be interesting to see how this field does find a way to manage the tires. Take a look at the drivers coming off of pit lane. Getting ready for the 1-to-go signal. They'll all line up here, and we'll take this green flag when we come back around. But it's going to be very interesting and a night and day difference. So the people who did watch a lot of stuff, the people who's kept up with the officials this week or has ran the officials this week, I have heard nothing but positivity about these cars at Texas and how they've raced. It's the mile-and-a-half package has, theoretically been the best package that we've seen in the next-gen car. Be no surprise if the PRL didn't put on a great show with a very, very low track temp, and it's more than likely going to come down as we, progress through this race. As the sun is gone, the lights are on. We're getting ready to party here in the Lone Star State. If you're just joining us, I'm Terry Radford, Derek Watson over here with me. Our back-to-back PRL broadcast. We did Thursday night, and we also do tonight. But people who were watching the North Wilkesboro All-Star Race and watching this at the same time, welcome. This was the All-Star Race last year. Not so much put on a crap show, but the PRL doesn't. The pace car is off. Field's in the control of Trent Dinkle. Green flags in the air for the penultimate round of the PRL Cup Series. Lap 1 gets completed with no issues. The top 4 goes single file. The first battle right there, Derek, is for P5, and that outside lane ain't where you want to be this early.
I mean, yeah, that's a great battle right there. And look, it didn't take them long, by the way. Did you notice that, Terry? And that first corner, lap 1, they were all over the track. Top lane, bottom lane, against the wall, middle of the track. This will be an exciting night. This bottom group is preferred by some drivers because they feel it's a little faster, a little contact there. But people will move up throughout the night goes on, and they'll find whatever lane works for them. And that's what will eventually race these cars here. You see that first battle, P5. Beyond that, it's pretty quickly single file. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you.
A lot of people single filed out, and we have the insider behind us. You can get the best inside track to trading your stocks with Ninja Trader, but our inside trading software is Nick Hunter. He told us that there was a bit of a looseness there on Callahan. Got loose off 2, checked the entire field up with Kibby, Callahan, and Luke Christian with a 4X already of making contact here at Texas. There's no surprise that you see these drivers getting X's already when these corners are difficult to manage, especially off exit. We've got 150 laps to do it. When the tires start to wear out, it gets even worse. But it is single file all the way throughout this field. Well, this ought to be fun. It's now you see a little bit of a battle back here with Charles Sumner. This would be the battle for the 20th position. They're trying to figure out or the 21st position as they just fell back. And a lot of racing so far in the mid-pack, but not a whole lot of racing up front.
No, it's really not. It's a little bit more fun of the leader. But, one of the advantages the drivers have of riding this outside lane or this middle lane through the corner, the typical rule of tire saving, Terry, in any form of racing, but especially iRacing, is the less wheel input you can do, the more tires you're going to save. So these guys who are riding the middle and high lanes out of the corners, they're doing a little less to wheel input possibly, and they might be the ones who have a little more tire left here if we get 15, 20 laps into a run.
That's the one thing that I've been taught from going from open setup to fixed setup and trying to understand the tire saving process that has occurred here. But there's a lot of different lines that are being utilized here this afternoon. You saw somebody right there in your camera shot that he was up about a lane and a half off of the bottom in turns 3 and 4, trying to keep the momentum up. Got word that the 35 is driving all the way up at the top of this racetrack, trying to figure this out, trying to get just a little bit of speed to keep it here. But is it too early to try to hunt for speed, or do you think maybe, try to find it early so you don't have to, figure it out late?
It depends on what your goal for this race is. We're going to go to onboard here with Chris Hudson, but it depends on your goal of the race. Are you here to win? Are you here for points? Are you here just to finish? If you have nothing to lose, if you're far behind the points and have no shot at a title, why not try something different? The three rules to success in life is to be better than, less than, or different than. That's how you get ahead in life. And right now, if you want to be different than, you try right in the top of the track and you try to see what you can get away with. Maybe you find something that no one else thought existed. We've seen that many times in a NASCAR race where someone kind of accidentally bumped into an idea that really worked.
It always backs yourself into a win. I saw that almost work yesterday with the 2-tire strategy call here at Texas in an official race. It didn't work. He finished P2, but he jumped the likes of me, who run second and third all race long. Just lost it on a pit cycle. We got action going on for P3. You got the 80 or the 67 of Pat Harvey blocking the 89 of Eric Hag. There's a lot of action starting to formulate up here at the front of this pack, where we're now getting into the run, or the part of the run, to where, well, drivers might have driven the tires off of it already. If you look at Rusty Robinson here on the bottom lane, getting around the driver to the outside. This is where the racing's been so far. A lot of these drivers trying to work their way through the field that got bad qualifying runs, and these drivers up front, you have contenders and you have pretenders from qualifying into the race. Your race set might not have been as strong as your qualifying set, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and that's always a goal that I try to strive for when I'm working with drivers on my team, is always making sure you qualify at your pace. There's no point in having an amazing qualifying run if you don't have the pace to be there. And this probably applies more to road racing than it does to ovals, I think. But yeah, that's a very prominent thing. This is the battle. This is Charles Sumner here in the 98 in that Tropicana machine, riding around here. And now is going to try to get under that car and make a pass here at the line.
That Pat Harvey being overtaken by Eric Hogg up there in the front. Troy Torgerson is trying to make that run up there work, and he's not going to make it work in 1 and 2. He's going to make it work in 3 and 4. He'll hold the bottom. He'll shove Pat Harvey all the way up the racetrack of the SGE Esports machine. That outside lane is being a little bit more predominant. I wonder, and I'm curious on how much these drivers are shifting here as we take a look at Pat Harvey. Maybe it looks like he went to might have went to IKEA for a lot of that furniture.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? But, you know, the shifting thing, I think maybe not as prevalent. I'm kind of curious as well. I think once you're up in 5th gear, you might hit 4th for the corners. But we'll have to see. As maybe we get it on board here with someone in a bit. We can find... maybe we get it on board with our leader. That'd be a good indication, because obviously he's doing it right.
Yeah, if Trent Dinkel's been as fast as Xfinity 10G all season long, has been up front. And we're getting word that drivers are shifting in turn 1. Turn 3, I would imagine that they're only cracking the throttle about 3/4 here. You take a listen to the onboard. Doesn't seem like he's doing a whole lot.
Let's find out here. So this is obviously start finish. Here comes 1 and 2.
He shifted there. You see the shift. There he goes, shifting back up off the exit. What's he doing 3 and 4? Nothing.
Just lifting. Yeah, just lifting. So, of course, this is Trent Dinkel. He's our points leader. I had a chance to talk to him earlier. Said he thought if this race stayed green, he could get up in clean air and was fully confident that he could put a good lead on the field. He says if it's like my official races this week with the yellows, who knows what can happen. It'll just get crazy out there. So, yeah. And he says that Terry always makes fun of him for looking like he lives at the gym.
It does. And then tell me he doesn't look like he, has a half a thing of protein every morning and then just bangs his head against the wall while he's crushing weights. I talked to him in the EPI Discord. We had a good conversation about racing, and the one thing he told me was flat out is if we stay consistent, we're fine. In officials, you never really know what you're going to get. You could get a long run, you could get a caution fest. It's whatever you're going to get at that moment. But Trent's been fast, whether it was a caution fest or whether it was a big old green flag run. But Johan's not leaving him. He's there. He's making him be honest. That top 4 all is making him honest.
Yeah, I know said earlier, in fact, the gap's closed up here a little bit since I looked at the timing a lap or 2 ago. They are really on his tail and really keeping that pressure on here. I don't think they can make the pass, that being Johan and Eric and Troy. But I think the big story so far, by the way, is we're watching on the onboard, I believe this is going to be with Eric Haas it is. The big story for me, by the way, is Pat Harvey falling back to P6 already, having a tough night apparently. But here we're on board. I believe it's a Michigan Spartan on the front of that car for Eric. I need to take a different look at it here. That looks like a Michigan Spartan.
I don't know what that is. It does look good. Let's see. Car goes by too fast. Some kind of records. We'll get our handy dandy Nick to tell us what the side of that car says. It just moves too fast for us. That's the magic of this. But I am kind of surprised too. He has fallen off the pace quite a bit, almost 3/10. Well, he put down a 29.773 was his fastest lap time, and that lap time came on lap number 2. And now here he sits running 30.194. So he's one of the slowest cars on the racetrack. Everybody else around him is running 29.9s or 30 flats, and he's running 30.1. So we'll see if maybe when he comes down pit lane, if he makes a change here, we're going to potentially stay green with everybody being single file. Cautions might be at a premium, and well, track position's always won.
And you know what? And track position can also be won on pit road. So we'll see who wants to make a change, who wants to sacrifice pit road time, who wants to try a different strategy. As you said, we've seen 2 tire strategies throughout the week in the official races and whatnot. But now we're going to ride on board, with Ken Alland from the Midwest region here in iRacing in that 23 machine. Yeah, it makes you wonder if some drivers are just maybe set up for the long run versus a short run. And as we get now to 22, 23 laps in, you might start to see some guys who are running well start to fall off a little bit, Terry, because maybe they thought we'd have, just 20 lap runs and caution, 20 lap run caution, and, they might be wrong.
It'd be interesting to see what we're going to do here as the run does progress. Does these drivers potentially get an advantage from being a tire saver? As here's a battle going on here is a little further on in the back. That's the 35 and the 24 machine. That's Jay McDonald and Jose the Funky Cole Medina. The 24 goes all the way up the racetrack in 3 and 4, but was able to make that stick. Can he keep it off the wall? Oh, who knows? We'll find out if the caution comes out, as there's the battle up front for P2, as here comes Eric Hag and whatever record he has, and he's trying to get around Johan in the 12 machine. That outside lane seems to be a little bit faster than what we had imagined when we started the show.
Yeah, it looks to be a little faster, a little bit more consistent. Might be the key here. And of course, a lot of drivers, I think, love the inside lane, Terry, because you have that marker on your left as kind of your guide. You have that white lane or a yellow lane or a blue lane, depending upon what track we're running at, to give you that marker of like where are you basically. When you're running middle or high, you have to find different markers. Now, at Texas, of course, we have those dashes down the straights that help you. But that's why some people prefer the inside, not because of the speed, but because of the stability of knowing that guide.
Yeah, I definitely needed that guide on Wednesday night. While I led 14 laps, it was on pit strategy, so strategy should come into a factor at some point in time in here. We'll get confirmation on the fuel mileage that we're going to get here this afternoon and what these cars have left. As well, we finally got confirmation on what the side of the car says. Melusina records? That's interesting.
All right, well, here is Robert Bisol Jr. here, running in that number 3 car. You see the drivers, all of them, I think, are starting to come up on the hill a little bit through the corners. In the beginning, we saw people really riding the bottom of the corners, Terry, but now we're starting to see more and more guys kind of not be down there, and I don't think it's a choice. I think it's as these tires on this car are wearing out, it's a little harder to get down there. So you're going to naturally start to drift up just because the car's fighting you as this race progresses.
Yeah, it's still working under the green flag condition here at the Texas Motor Speedway for the penultimate round for the PRL NASCAR Cup Series. You're looking at Robert Bisol Jr. in the number 3 machine. This has not been necessarily the race that we would imagine. I thought for sure, as you look at Pat Harvey here and the SGE Sports Pioneer, number 67, as he's trying to get around Troy in the 39, he'll get the run underneath. But I would have imagined for sure that we were going to get an early caution with a lot of people checking up, a lot of people getting loose. This battle still rages on. This is a good battle for the top 5.
A very good battle for the top 5. And I think sometimes we all get in our head about what a race can be. And, we all always want to anticipate or prepare ahead. Precautions might be the better word for it. We want to be prepared for that possibility. But you see these guys racing like this, and I think everyone's just kind of being mellow right now. It's 150 laps. We're only 30 laps in. There's no need to be too aggressive yet. Just kind of run out here, test your car out, know what to do when the pit stops happen, whether it's under green or yellow. And I think, of course, intensity will pick up probably right around the halfway point.
I would have loved the track temp that they have here tonight to have been in our race. And even on Wednesday, as it has gone up, but it's still 75 degrees. I will take that any day of the week. It's 8:58 standard time in the sim, 20th of May, with a good wind speed of 12 miles an hour. and it affecting these cars here, though, is this battle for fifth still goes on. And we talked about Pat Harvey falling out of the good graces so far in this race, where he slipped back outside the top 5. Now he's starting to work his way back into it, but trying to, with the 39 of Troy, is not going to let him by without a fight. That's, I believe that would be Chris Hudson that was loose off the exit of the corner there, and now he's got some company behind him.
Yeah, he definitely does. And of course, we were talking earlier about the points battle. Trent Dinkle came into this race tonight, I believe, 38 points ahead of Matthew Long. Matthew Long is not here, so this seems all but done for Trent Dinkle. Is going to walk away tonight with that points title. As we said, there's other point battles going on that matter, whether it be the team points or the individual points. I mean, we have that three-way battle: Abner Acosta, Pat Harvey, and Chris Hudson. So Pat Harvey is doing well in that scenario, even if he is not having a good night for the win. Pat Harvey so far is ahead, I believe, of Abner Acosta and Chris Hudson, and so he is helping secure that. And that could end up actually battling for second place with Matthew Long missing a week.
It's going to be interesting to see what this goes out to. But here's the fun part. So tire fall off has begun even harder. So 29.7s was a unanimous lap time, with a couple 29.6s around here. As we're going to take a look, who is this on board with? That's a very interesting thing. Tristan Callahan at 22nd. What an interesting rig setup he has there. But tire fall off wise, a lot of these drivers, they're down to about a second off of what they were running, except for the likes of Dinkle and Johan up front. They're still in the ballpark of where they were at. But the crazy part that we're going to see here this afternoon, who ducks down pit lane? Who takes that chance to come down maybe lap 45, lap 50 when the tires are at their absolute worst? Do we see somebody maybe short pit this? Maybe Eric in the 89, maybe James O'Brien tries to flip it and go up here and pass the leader?
Maybe. I think the obvious answer here is you do whatever the leader doesn't do. Right now, Trent Dinkle has led every lap and has now opened a gap on P2. It's about 0.3 of a second from when we focused on it earlier. So if Dinkle wants to come down on lap 50, I'll wait till 60. If he wants to wait till 60, I might duck down. You got to do something different sometimes if you want to, beat the guy who's dominating. So, but I probably would do right on the 50s and just be safe here. Now we're going to take another on board. This is Lou Christian.
It's the world's shortest staircase, as Joey Tebbin likes to call it. I think it has one step on it, but it has an entire rail.
No, safety first.
Yeah, we haven't decided if he's old and he just needs that to step up on, or if he just said, you know what, it kind of just, it just gives us a little bit more extra stability on the stair. It makes it look like a staircase.
It really classes the room up a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, the world's smallest window is somewhere floating around, I'm sure. It's going to be it's fun when we see these the inside shots of these drivers, because they get to see us. When we come on, they see our behind the scenes of what the inside of our rooms look like, except for tonight. They know my room looks like a massive shrine to NASCAR, but still working green flag conditions. 39 laps coming to 40.
Looks like a NASCAR version of Hoarders when I saw it a couple days ago. That's what it looks like.
Well, I mean, I've got some sprinkles in here. If I had a massive camera to show everything, I have a family wall that's dedicated that's sitting next to my broadcast screen, but we're actually moving me out of this room. My wife is effectively kicking me out of here. We're going to make room for the baby that's coming later this year, and she's refusing to give up a guest room. And low man on the totem pole says that I've got to give up my room to move either outside in a shed or into a very hot garage.
There you go. Well, I want to point out, by the way, look how, two things. A, look how big that wheel is that Lou is using. And two, look how stable his hands are. We're 40 laps into this run. Just a little slight turn here, not really fighting the wheel. So while fighting for P15, definitely feels confident in that car. There's not a lot of hand fighting with that, not a lot of seesawing, not a lot of struggling, but that was a good run there.
Not a lot of bee-sawing on that wheel either. Sir Robert Beesaw Jr. still for the top 6. Looking back here,
Whoa,
yeah, I tried. Yeah, somebody smacked it. This is a round here with Abner Acosta coming through. Oh, there's more in the wall. That's it looks like Joshua Daniels and Skip Gandy might have had some action here. Wait, who is that coming down pit lane? Oh, debris. Something's on the racetrack.
That is Skip Dandy down pit road right there. Yep, or Gandy.
Yeah,
that's a Gandy. Gandy down pit road. They had some contact. I don't know if we're going to get a replay of that or not, but he hit the wall on his own first.
There's a good bit of debris coming off of that car, too. Wow, what a damage model.
Laps ago. It's going to be out of 1 and 2. He hits it for the first time. And then I believe he's going to get some assistance in 3 and 4. So rides it up the hill here. Here's the first one. Nat checked him up. They were 3 wide through the corner, and I just think someone didn't know they were 3 wide there, Terry.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he knew that he was in fact 3 wide. But nonetheless, he ended up missing his pit box as well. So kind of add an insult to injury there, as Gandy got a meatball. Daniels got a meatball in the 77, so automatic repairs had to come down pit road. Sit there for the time being as you look at James O'Brien fighting for that P2 position, and it is Joe Hahn. Let me make sure I say that one right. Joe Hahn, not Johan, whatever, like the solo thing. I'll figure it out down the road. I didn't watch Star Wars, but I get the solo references. He still tries to fight up here for that P2 position. It's a good fight. It's a second off of our race leader, and well, we would assume the champion here in the PRL Cup Series. A good assumption, I would think, Derek, for our part.
I would say so, but man, you know, it's funny. I talked to Trent, and he said if he could get clean air, he'd be confident. And man, he really is. At one point, this was like a 1/10 of a second battle that we were commenting on. Now it's almost a 1.1 second battle between Trent Dinkle and 2nd and 3rd place there. So obviously he is confident in clean air. This is having fun.
It's got the word.
And this stuff right here, sorry to cut up. This stuff right here, this is why he has that lead. When these guys are going to go side by side, of course, that means that Johan is pitting. But anytime you're side by side racing, you're also helping that leader increase that lead he has.
First true domino to fall. Jay McDaniel pitted, and then the 12 car pitted as well. So some strategic calls, and this is a tune of about a second-ish fall off that we've seen. He was exactly 1 second behind when he came down pit lane. So we'll see if maybe he's able to flip it, as here comes Trent Dinkle trying to cut the undercut that was put on him by the 12 machine to pull out and have that 1 lap fresh tire advantage. Your new race leader is going to be James O'Brien. You take a look right here at the number 39 machine of Troy Torgerson. He's riding in the 8th place position. We'll net him when he does pit a couple spots back, as he has leapfrogged the ones that have come down. We'll see if, here comes the race leader, James O'Brien, for private label Team Hype. Here comes Pat Harvey. Abner Acosta's going to stay out. The tire wizard is going to try to do tire wizardry things, as 48 laps on these tires. His lap time when he came by that time was a 30.7 flat. So, he's not too far off. Maybe praying for the caution to come out.
And here comes Abner Acosta this time by. Just made the call out saying fitting this time. So just want to get that extra lap, maybe lead that lap and claim that credit for doing so. Here he comes down pit road, watching him on my side monitor.
I wonder if you're one of these drivers like a Chris Hudson or a Jose Acosta or a Waldo Walden, one of these drivers that just hasn't necessarily had the speed this season to win one of these races. Do you potentially try the long game? Do you stay out 5, 10, 15 laps if you can, fuel-wise, to maybe go up here? As Jose Acosta's going to stay out this time, maybe praying that one of these drivers on new tires goes up here and wrecks one of these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a strategy to take, where you're basically at that point you're hoping for the caution, or you're playing the long game for the shorter last caution. What I'm kind of surprised by, Terry, to bring to that point full circle, though, is that these guys were putting on lap 47, 48. Some of them were. I'm a bit of a weird, I guess, nerd, and I like to do whole numbers. I would like to do 50, 50, 50. I don't want to do like 47 and have to do the math and think about like where am I afterwards. Like I'd have ran it till 50 and just broke this race into thirds. That would have made me feel more confident for the end of the race. But I mean, some of these guys are doing what they think is best for their car.
Is that you just saying on air that you're bad at math? Because I just would have said I'm bad at math.
No, it's just saying it's actually I'm a nerd for like whole numbers. I don't know why. It says I'm bad at math. I like whole numbers, like 50, 50, 50. That's easy. I don't know. I like things that are divisible by 5 and 10. It's a weird nerd thing that I have. I can't explain it to you.
Yeah, I like what Nick typed in our broadcast chat here. It sounds like OCD. I like it. I will say on the opposite end of you, I like whole numbers because I'm just plain dumb. And I just don't like to count. If I pitted on lap 48, I don't want to know that I got X amount of laps left with it. I gotta have a hole. As here comes Jose Acosta in the 42. Oh man, that's how you get on pit road and maximize the time.
That definitely is, and that's a skill here at Texas, by the way. Getting on pit road, this entry to this pit road is fast and difficult, in my opinion. I mean, of course, you've ran it a few times this week, and you know that it's just not, in my opinion, one of the easier pit road entrances we have on the schedule.
Oh, it's not easy at all. No penalty for him, so he slowed it down. He got it woed up to get on pit lane. Yeah, no, this is not an easy pit place to get down. I wouldn't put it in the ballpark of saying that it's maybe harder than a Michigan or a Daytona or Talladega or a New Atlanta when you're trying to get off the banking and figure that out and dive it in and get that type of run. But it is very difficult when you get down on the corner and you transition off the banking to slow it down in time. And these next-gen cars, they don't like slowing down that hard. It's not their strong suit here when you come away from 190 plus miles an hour all the way down to 45. But yeah, I don't know. You got lucky on that one. We're looking here at I believe that would be the 89 machine, if that number shows me correctly. And well, that's all the way back to Eric Hogg, and he's sitting 7th at the moment as Chad Keeby comes down pit lane.
Speaking of Eric Hogg, I wanted to call it out for a minute. He is the only person in this race who has a live spotter with him. It's John Jones sitting up in his spotter stand for this race. The difference between a live spotter and the iRacing spotter or crew chief or whatever it is you want to use, that's a massive difference. That's got to be a benefit to him. I love having live spotters, but that is a real chemistry you have to form with a live spotter. You can't, in my opinion, you can't just let anyone live spot for you. There has to be a chemistry and a trust and a bond there to be able to trust what your spotter tells you. And apparently those guys have figured it out.
I had Mark Kalin spot me last night for 13 laps, and he was a BP the whole time. That's all he was from start to finish. When he was in a top split, and I was in second split, and who knows that kind of worked. Here that the 37 might have had a little bit of a fun time getting on pit lane of Eric Papanow. Almost killed the field. But here comes Jay McDonald coming down pit road for some odd reason.
Yeah, I heard he was just in the wall. Yeah, he said he was just in the wall, so probably coming down, having a hard time. Either a tire call or something different about that car he made in a change. But, yeah. And
look at here. Trent Dinkle right on the back bumper. Or Johan on the back bumper of Trent Dinkle here. As this is the battle for the race lead as Jose Medina in the 24 didn't get the caution he was praying for, stayed out on the racetrack for 58 laps. He'll have fresh tires from here on out. He'll have about a 10 lap advantage or so on this field. But wow, well, there's the 1 lap difference brought it in. 0.8 of a second is the gap now, and James O'Brien's right there too, a half a second off.
You know what else Jose Medina has, though, if this stays green the whole way? He has possibly one less pit stop in these drivers. He waited till lap 57, 58 to come in, so that's going to be now pitting on lap 104 to 106, depending upon where it falls in cycle. Some of these guys don't have that much gas. They pitted on 47, 10 laps earlier. He might shave a pit stop off the end of this.
That's an interesting point to bring, too. We talked about it a little while ago when it came to the strategy calls. Did you take a look right here? Oh, man.
That's the wall hit we were talking about.
That's a big wall hit, too. That was the 24 was checking up to come on pit lane.
And big credit there, by the way. I know it's hard to do that and to see that, but big credit to that driver for staying up against the wall. There's been many times in real life and in iRacing where a driver's tried to get off the wall, and you end up coming down in front of a bunch of cars and causing a bigger, calamity and collisions and wrecks. And great job getting it up on the wall, lifting out of it, being safe, and calling out the wreck versus making it much worse.
Yeah, it is a good point you bring there. A lot of people just would have stopped it. I mean, if anybody scrolled on Twitter and saw the Hickory debacle from last night, a lot of people like to retaliate and drive over other people's cars and then play victim and punch people when they're not looking. But lap traffic is about to commence over this field. We've had green flag from start till now. Green flag pit stops have happened here, and the battle for first is there. You got the third place driver is there, so you got a 3-car fight for this lead. Well, theoretically, third's about a half a second off a second, but he's working his way back up to him. Tire conservation mode at all if you're this top 3, or do you just set sail and try to get around Trent Dinkle here?
I think at this point with that first pit stop being in lap 47, 48, 49, I think you've already you've set your game plan. The only way that your plan changes now would be if a yellow comes out. And listen, we're 64 laps into this race, and we look at that. We just had a new fastest lap on 64. Talk about this track and the temperatures and the conditions you hinted at earlier. You're able to set a fastest lap on 64? Wow. I mean, I don't mean that mockingly. I mean that impressingly. That's a great run here. That was Chad Kibbe, I think you saw, who did that.
Yeah, Chad Kibbe on 7-lap old tires set the fastest lap of this race. That would be a 29.649. That would be what would put him to the top of, currently the person who gets the point here. As you take a look at 14th place Lou Christian in the Bowden 21, the Chevy there. Yeah, it was the old Camaro that a lot of people show. Take a look right here. There is Chad Kibbe in 17th. Not having the run he wanted, but has a fast overall lap time. We'll potentially see if that goes more into the long run. Maybe needed to fix something on that car, and has it here.
Yep, that's an interesting paint scheme, by the way. It looks like more like those. That reminds me of those paint schemes that the road teams do when they're showing off brand new prototypes of cars, and they don't want you to exactly see the car, so they kind of cover it in like lines and spots, and you know what I'm talking about? That's what that paint scheme reminds me of.
That is the exact paint scheme that I believe Kurt Busch won in last year at Kansas for 2311 racing. So Chad Kibbe kicking back there. I mean, you even see, I think that's the 2311 logo on the front of it.
Yeah,
it's a good throwback there on a, what is a quote-unquote throwback-ish weekend for NASCAR 2 weeks in a row as we go up here to Mr. Robinson in the 20 machine. Old Rusty in 19th. Not having the run that Rusty wants. Not like, a certain Rusty Wallace that used to race in the NASCAR Cup Series not too long ago. If you just take the 2 off or the 0 off of it, you get the 2, you got a Rusty throwback.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see what happens here. Of course, now we're back up here to the 12 car. This is Johan sticking there 0.3 of a second to the leader. Having a great night here, of course, is part of that team you saw listed there on your screen. Now, if we can do so, I actually want to take our cameras back, if we can, to Abner Acosta. He's a 5 car, currently in 7th place. He's having a great run tonight, where we're not seeing a lot of passing and a lot of movement going on. He's up, oh gosh, math is hard. 6 spots tonight already, from 13th to 7th. Had a chance to talk to Abner today. Said he's not worried about the points battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. For him, it's win or nothing. But he is excited about the team points battle because that's something he can still contribute to. Says as far as the race tonight, they only had a handful of laps in the car this week. So just going to be trying to stay out of trouble, save tires, and adjust to the track. Now, I want to bring that point full circle. What I love about PRL is this team system, Terry, because what it does is it gives you a reason to care, even if you're not in the points battle. Abner says I'm not going to win the title, and that's pretty much locked up, but I can still help my team. I can still be helping Private Label win the team title, and I think that helps with driver engagements throughout the season of the league.
Oh, it absolutely does, and I can go to that as well. Race for Whataback in the Xfinity Series, and I stayed out on the long strategy to lead a lap, just to give that 1 point to my team. While we're not in contention for the team championship, that's been almost locked up, as the battle for second is not locked up yet, as the 12 and the 33 fight it out here. Right at this moment, it's going to be staying in the 12th possession, but that team standings, we're able to go out and lead the lap. We've got a couple wins this season. We've done a lot of different things. It's very interesting. I'm not in the points championship at all. Contact's made back here with Abner Acosta and Robert Beasall Jr. Wow, Abner's getting aggressive finally.
That is the old 8 tires are better than 4 strategy. And I think, the 3, we thought maybe he wanted to have something to say about it, but Abner pulled away there out of the corner.
Abner's been known to save some tires and drive through the field. He's 2 seconds off of Pat Harvey in front of him, so the long green flag runs tend to play dividends here for the driver of the number 5 machine for Private Label Team Hype. Every spot matters for the team championship. I think it's a very interesting point that you brought up about that dynamic of the PRL, is it's not just a singular effort, it is a group effort that goes on to win that championship at the end of the season. Take a look right here on the back camera of our leader, Trent Dinkle. He still looks back, or wait, it's Abner Acosta. We're on the back bumper of Abner as he still holds Robert Beasall Jr. off. I don't know why. I thought that was the race leader. Pretty much the same back cameras there, but still holding on here, and these cars look really good in the nighttime. Hint, hint for the Wednesday guys.
Yeah, I want to talk about this track for a second as well, Terry. This track has gone through a lot of changes, and it's really, I think in my mind, one of the biggest ovals to play with technology throughout the years. Remember back in the 2000s, they tested the idea of putting the caution lights in the track for the drivers to see. And of course, I'm not trying to make one come out, but if one does come out, now this is me, nerd side again. The fact that the fences light up for the yellows, that's such a cool feature that I think helps the driver see the yellow come out, and it makes it more obvious. But I love this track. Of course, when this track was built, I think a lot of people know the original idea was to call this Texas International Speedway. It was not supposed to be called Texas Motor Speedway. But because, of course, this track is owned by the company who owns places like Daytona and Michigan, and following that naming scheme, that's the scheme that owners wanted to follow, with those kind of names. But it ended up not working out. But I don't know. It's so weird to think we know it as Texas Motor Speedway. What if it was TIS? What if it was TIS? Let's go race at TIS this week.
I've always voted to turn this into a parking lot, I've had good success here in iRacing, so you know what? Don't change it to a parking lot. I could be skewed with good finishes and good results. Leave it alone. Let's race Texas every year. I'm for it. I know who else is for it too. That's the 9 car. He's definitely for it to continue running here as we take a look at Robert Beasall Jr. in 7th. He's one of the closest battles here with Abner Acosta. The car almost smacks the wall in front of him. That's the 80 machine. That's Rafael Rodriguez in 21st. Has not had the time of his life at Texas, as there is now only 17 cars. That's currently on the lead lap, with Tristan Callahan will be the next victim for the 9 car when he gets up there to the 17th place position to lap him. I will say, I agree with you, the Texas has the best caution lights. I'm not trying to bring one out either, but a caution would play huge favors for a lot of people who are begging for said caution. This is the one guy that isn't begging for the caution to see those beautiful yellow lights just trickle on around here and give us what we want.
Yeah, he's perfectly content. Look at that face. I mean, all kidding aside, look at his face. He is stoic. He's calm. He's concentrated. There doesn't look to be any panic there. Just zoned in. You can tell he's having a good, easy night here at Texas. And that's just calm. I don't think I'm that calm when I'm racing.
No, I'm definitely not. I say things that would. I'm glad I'm not broadcasting and racing, because I probably would get in trouble if I said them. But whatever. I get. You have that competitive spirit, that competitive flame inside you, where you don't like getting wrecked. I raced North Wilkesboro last night. Was running third on the last lap. Guy dumped me. He gets DQ'd. He just dumps me out of third. I was like, "What did you do that for? Could have finished fourth, man." He was like, "Well, you were in my way. I got DQ'd anyhow. It didn't matter. I just wanted to wreck somebody." It's like, okay, that's kind of messed up. But I was like, I gained like 1 iRating out of it. I was like, what was the point? You didn't have to wreck me. We could have finished third and fourth. You could have not got DQ'd. You'd have gained 80 something. I'd have gained 90 something. And he did. He got protested. The second protest I've ever submitted on iRacing in 2 years was that guy last night. I think his name was like Mike something, but guy was an idiot.
Yeah, I often talk to myself. I try to, I guess, to pep myself up and sometimes criticize myself at the same time. So it's
tell me how you criticize yourself.
No, we can't use those words. You can't use those words. Nope, not doing it.
We have a bleep button somewhere, I'm sure of it.
I just got this job on RaceSpot a couple weeks ago. I'm not trying to end this job at RaceSpot. I'm good at things.
Well, I don't know if you've ever watched RSR, but I don't know how I'm still here. I don't know.
Yeah, this track also, by the way, not just track size. Like, of course, it's a 1.5 mile track. It's the most, I think, at least a long time, those common track type 1.5 miles in NASCAR. But seating capacity, this place is huge. I think currently today, this track, holds about 112,000 people. That's about 7,000 more people than AT&T Stadium can hold for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I'd be curious. A lot of these NASCAR tracks and their future plans to hold major events. I heard a rumor that there might be another chance to play a football game inside of a stadium. Let's take a look right here with Jeff Chandler. He's trying to get around Robert Beasall Jr. He does. Looks like Beasall maybe drove the tires off of it, trying to hold Abner Acosta off. 31's having a very decent run here. Moved up quite a bit in this race so far. This has to be very taxing, and the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series are supposed to be the top of the top. They're supposed to be the cream of the crop in the PRL on the oval side of things. They have the developmental series in the trucks, but the stat for the Xfinity Series was there was not a caution for 4 straight races. And here in the Cup Series, caution flags don't necessarily become guaranteed, because you've got drivers like these that just absolutely put on a whale of a show, as Jose Acosta with his fresher tires gets around there, and he's got the freshest tires in the field with 32 laps on him. He's got a 5-lap advantage on Jeff Chandler and a 6-lap advantage over our leader.
And as cool as that stat is to have all these races without yellows and show how clean the league is and how clean the drivers are, that's also kind of exhausting for a driver. That means you don't have those caution laps to stop and get a breather, maybe get a swig of water, talk with your teammates or to yourself about strategy. You feel like you're always on the go here. And while the race does go faster, and that's a benefit to staying green, that can be exhausting in a place like Texas, because you're just always on the go here. You can't ever wander your mind. The track isn't big enough, and it's too quick to let that happen.
Yeah, this is a very fast-paced race. We're well over the halfway point. I wasn't even paying attention that we were on lap 88. Wow. I mean, we're flying through this race. You look at Pat Harvey right here. He's 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds off of Eric Hagg. We have separated quite a bit, as there goes Jose Acosta on his fresher tires. He just got around Jeff Chandler. He's got 9 seconds before he catches all the way up to Abner Acosta. We'll see if he can pull that gap down. I think he's going to need a yellow as Waldo Walden sitting back in the 11th position. He just gained a spot there on Troy Turgerson. Can he drive up through this field? Maybe go past Chris Hudson as he's only about, 14-ish seconds off. There's a lot of spread out racing, and we've got another pit cycle that's almost ready to kick off.
I was about to mention the same thing. Those guys pitted on 47, so if you double that, for my commentary and math, that's 94. That means commentary and math means you want to check it at home, by the way. That's what that means. But no, it's 94. So that would be when we expect to see Trent Dinkle be one of the first ones to come down, by the way, and get gas and tires, and then probably have to set it up again to make it maybe a splash and go at the end. That's the curious part I'm not sure of. But we're riding out on board with James O'Brien here in that 33 machine. Let's listen, by the way, here. Now as the run has gone on, if we stick around this for a whole lap, I'm willing to bet we're no longer shifting here through these corners now that they're slowing down with older tires. So just a lift here, I think. Let's stick with this here.
1 and 2 is going to be the big player here. Are they shifting into it?
Oh, there it was. I heard it right there. You heard that big whine to the motor. So they are still shifting, even at the end of a run. That's interesting. I was not expecting that.
Speeds, even though their last time by, they've conserved quite a bit with the track temp, stabilizing. The sun completely gone. It is full on darkness here in the Lone Star State. They only fell off a second from their fastest lap. So tires in the first run fell off a ton. Tires so far in the second run, not so much. Like I said, it was a 29.790 for Dinkle. It was his best lap. It was a 30.704. Was his last time around. So an exact 1 second fall off in 45 laps. So that's the kind of race that I like. Tire fall off, not really there. Jose Medina's fighting to keep his lap up here, so we could potentially see that gap with James O'Brien in the 33 start to close on the 9 of Dinkle.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as that Jose Medina and Trent Dinkle battle goes that's happening up front, Trent Dinkle was not happy a minute ago with how Jose Medina is racing. He thinks that, you're a lap car, you need to kind of back up a little bit maybe, or make safer moves at least. But you're right.
Well, he's fighting to stay on the lead lap. So,
right.
He's fighting his hardest to stay up here. He has a right to do it. Sure. But I do understand where Dinkle's coming from. I would be mad too.
Yeah, because as the leader right now, what that's doing is it's slowing you down, and it's going to let James O'Brien close that gap ever so slightly here. And we'll have to see what happens. It's private label number 9 machine here. Wants to keep this lead. He's led all 95 laps so far, and he wants to see if he can lead the last 55.
Not sure if I want to make him mad, like for real. I'm not too sure if that's the one that I want to irritate. But talk about pit cycles getting ready to go. I think they're stretching it this time. He's still at down 47 laps. We were thinking potentially we would roll 40-ish. Waldo Walden comes down. He's one of the first takers here on the pit lane. We'll see how many people. Mike Witt comes in. You see the battle right here. Eric Hag. He's trying to get around the 12 machine of Johan. The 12 has not had the run in the second one, a 1 lap different tire-wise, and it seems to be playing even harder. Is maybe the 12 starting to fall off even more than what we would imagine that we thought the first run would do.
Yeah, and that could be about that clean air battle we've talked about, can you clean air, can you find it, can you stay in a draft? Those kind of things can matter here, even at Texas. I know typically when I say the word drafting, your mind's going to go to like Dega or Daytona, Indianapolis maybe. But no, that exists at a place like Texas with how fast it is. But look at this beautiful battle. And the 12 car is not giving in an inch here.
Surprised to see him not pinching there. He's going to roll that outside lane. He'll get the momentum. He did almost kiss the wall. As we'll see if the 89 can actually make this pass. That's a very weird line, Derek. He's not painting the white as the leader just came down pit road. Trent Dinkel's in.
He was not painting the white. That's true. And, you know, interestingly enough to talk about that D-shaped front where the straight is, that dog leg or however you want to call it nowadays, that's my least favorite part of this track. I get so nervous going through there sometimes because you're side by side and it feels so narrow, and it's really not. But it's something about those corners and the way they happen. It takes a lot of confidence to go side by side through there.
Yeah, it's something I don't get to do much there as James O'Brien comes in. Here comes a few other drivers. Eric Hagg comes in. Pat Harvey's in. Looks like got a couple more takers there behind. Stragglers. Ken Ayland comes into the 19. He was running 15th off the lead lap. He's one lap down. But the battle here, we're going to see how we cycle out. The 9 was the first one. He fell down to 12th. Here comes the 12 machine. He's going to come in this time by. He queued up and set it. Can he woe it down? Yes. No penalty there. Jose Acosta stays out like he did last time. He is on 46 lap old tires. He's going to assume this race lead and potentially push it just a little bit further and hope for the first yellow of the day.
Yeah, this is a great race, and that was a great move by the 12 there. That would probably be a little bit of time gained on pit road, because I didn't see Trent Dinkel's entrance, but that'll probably be a great time gain there, but just how smooth he was and how late he got on the brakes to get on the pit road there.
Take a look at the drivers coming down the back straightaway. There is Chad Kibbe, who set the fastest lap so far, sitting in 4th on this pit cycle. Jose Acosta comes in, Chris Hudson's in. That puts Jeff Chandler as the race leader in the number 31 machine. It's going to put Kibbe P2. Charles Sumner staying out here, it seems. He's going to stay out and go up to 3rd. If we get a caution now, it's going to trap a lot of people one lap down, and that would shake this race upside down.
It would, or at least what it would do is it would create a big wave around at 1 to go, which would be kind of interesting here. Some of the guys are starting to get back on the lead lap here, but it would be very interesting to see if that would happen. But this is a beautiful run here. Of course, here we're watching the 9 car turn some laps here. He's hoping to cycle back to the lead when all this is said and done. Right now it is Chad Kibbe, and then Charles Sumner, who we talked about earlier in that Tropicana machine, and P2, and then Dinkel is about 11 seconds back, but will assume the lead whenever these pit cycle is done. And the 98, Charles Sumner is coming in this time.
So Charles Sumner comes down, and this broke the strategy call. They pitted early on in this race, around lap 45-ish to 48 to get their first set of tires. Now they stretch it all the way out to 52, some of them 53, 54, 55, so they did not have to pit again. Tire fall off was around 1 second, now make it about 2 once you get later on in the run. We're looking at the overall race leader, the net race leader once he gets it back. The overall race leader is Chad Kibbe. He is 9.2 seconds ahead of this guy who has led every lap under green, not a pit stop. So nobody's passed him under the green flag conditions unless he drove down pit lane.
All right, well, we've had a great race so far. We're about to start lap 106. These guys are setting an incredible pace here in Texas. We're right on board here. This is Johan, who's been up front. I mean, really in podium position all night long, whether it be 2nd or 3rd. And I suspect we'll cycle back out there eventually. We're going to be now riding, I believe it's Pat Harvey in front of him with that seafoam green paint scheme.
That would indeed be Pat Harvey. The
kind of green your mom had or your grandmother had in her bathroom, I think.
Yeah, actually it was. Last one to pit on the last caution was Jose Acosta in the 42. Stayed out, had the long strategy gain, and it netted a couple spots. He currently sits in the 8th place position, gained a little bit. Now fresher-ist tires again. It's about a 4-lap difference for the 42 all the way up to the 9. Give or take strategy calls up and down here. Jeff Chandler, it's 4 laps, 5 laps, 9, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8. So that's the average of all of these drivers. But 1.5 seconds, and we've still gone caution free. We have seen nothing change here. I mean, definitely not what I expected.
No, definitely not. I think what most of us expected. I actually thought we'd see more side by side and a little bit more of a battle than the single file racing we've seen. But that's kind of what happens when everyone feels comfortable, gets all the grip in the bottom lane they want. This is probably the factor of a nighttime race versus a daytime race. But right here, look at Johan now is going to make that pass. Now coming into 1 and 2. Ooh.
Made it barely and almost wrecked them both. That was almost the one thing Trent does not want to see here. I'm sure James O'Brien and Eric in the 89 would love to see it, but it doesn't seem to be happening, as the only battle on the racetrack is right here, and well, that battle ended.
And interesting enough, in that battle, I would have thought from our camera view, it looked like Johan came up, but whether Pat Harvey was just being polite or he knows something I don't know, Pat Harvey immediately apologized for that contact.
He gets a run down the back straightaway. We'll see here. Can he put it into turns 3 and 4 and make it hold? Now the 12 is going to actually pull away just a little bit here. This is, I mean, we're coming down under 40 to go. We still got a new fastest lap, but Charles Sumner. So on lap 111, Charles Sumner puts the fastest time on the board.
Now we're on board here with Pat Harvey. Going to watch this battle here. Or this is earlier. Sorry, this is the contact we're talking about.
We thought he was clear.
He did think he was clear, yep. And he immediately apologized for this. You know what? The funny thing is, that camera view made it look like a lot less intense than what we thought it was when we saw it live.
Everything always.
I thought it was worse when we saw it live.
Everything always looks bad when it's live. Got report that Chad Kibbe hit the wall in turn 2. Tough break so far for him. He had the fastest lap, then he loses it so far to Charles Sumner, who's back in 17th, 1 lap down on the field.
You know, earlier we talked about, look, there's a new fastest lap. This will actually be Chad Kibbe got his fastest lap back.
He catches the wall, and then he puts the fastest lap down.
I just had to beat a little arrow into it, you know, make it a little faster. Oh, never mind. Jeff Chandler now, 29.581. So let's talk about this for a second. How fast this racetrack is, Terry. We're going to ride on board here. But seriously, this track has always been fast. I mean, no matter what configuration. Oh, Johan found the wall there. Remember back in 2001, they canceled a race here at Texas. I think it was a kart back when there was the whole IndyCar fiasco when there were 2 different leagues. 21 of the 24 drivers or something weird like that all came out of their practice complaining about dizziness and not feeling well, and I think a couple nausea comments came out of it. And it was determined that the G-forces of this track were so much because of how fast it is that CART called off the race because of how fast this track is. So think about that. This track has always been fast, and when you can set a fastest lap of the night on lap 115, that's amazing.
Well, it shows you that got a lot of rubber built into this racetrack right here. You also have a lot of speeds, and with the heat gone, track temp perfect. I mean, this is an absolute perfect time to race. I personally would love if I was able to run Wednesday night under these conditions. I feel like we would have had a much better car than what we had. A lot of drivers just now starting to attack this racetrack. People thought that they were saving. If you were watching the North Wilkesboro All-Star race and you're now tuning into PRL, I'm Terry Radford, Derek Watson. Kyle Larson dominated. Dominated the race over there and won by a tune of 4 seconds. As you look at Jose Medina, the number 24 machine, sitting in 8th place, starting to close in on Robert Besaw Jr., who's up in 7th. Fresher tires, mind you, on that 24. So we'll see if that plays dividends here for for that driver as he's going to drive through this field as the battle has not stopped for P4.
No, it hasn't. You know what? And this really proves a point you made earlier. I thought maybe Johan just had a bad run there after that first stop, but no, he's fallen back. I mean, that gap now. Remember, at one point he was a 1/10 of a second off our leader, and now he's just multiple seconds back behind our leader. So obviously a tough night. I mean, a strong run regardless. Something to be proud of. You know, your lowest spot of the night is a P5. There are plenty of drivers who would take that accolade and hold their head high because of it.
I'd take it any day of the week. If they would give it, Robert Bissell Jr. just got passed by the 42 of Acosta. Jose, that is. He's 1.5 seconds away from catching his brother and passing him. About 2 seconds away from going up and catching the 12, getting the top 5. But here comes Jeff Chandler as well at 31 on 5-lap fresher tires than the Robert Bissell Jr. He's on 15 laps. Him and the 42 have the freshest tires. So I'm gonna be curious. We come down to 30 laps to go. What a lot of these drivers are thinking if we do get a yellow flag. I'm sure they'll all pit, but I wonder if the intensity level does pick up.
That's very possible. We're still watching this battle here. We're gonna now see Johan make a move to the inside and get blocked. Get the door closed on him, I think. Yep. If we could go back for a second, by the way, to the 26 car of Mike Witt, as Eric Papineau just set our new fastest lap. We get back to the 26. I want to call him out for a second. This is our biggest mover of the race, up 7 spots, and it's Mike Witt in the 26. So while not having the greatest night, maybe, give a little camera time. Someone who's working hard in that Chevrolet there. Part of the Apex, the SGE Esports Apex here. So good job. Up 7 spots in a track that's proving hard to pass on. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, Mike Witt, very good driver there in the number 26 machine. I'm a fan of the scheme. I don't like that there is a certain brand on it. There's a reason. I posted on Twitter, one Pepsi guy actually flirted with my wife at Dollar General. And my only response to my wife when she told me was, well, that's why they're not the official fan refreshment of the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. Coke is. So take that, Pepsi, and all your snarky Pepsi products.
You realize you could have got like free Pepsi for life out of that.
I don't like Pepsi.
Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, like Barks' Coke.
Not a fan.
Monterey Pepsi, nothing?
Nothing. I'm Coke strict. Coke Zero, because you need to try it first.
No, I don't.
Well, it's all. It's
no,
all
I do not.
It's got all the taste of Coke with 0 sugar,
with zero
calories. Oh, it's good. Hopefully, the people watching enjoy the Coke. I enjoy Coke Zero. I eat it and drink it with every meal that I possibly can, especially when I go to Wendy's. A large Coke Zero and a double Baconator is always on the menu for me. As the 9 caught traffic here, it's not playing anything as you still have this battle going on. This is really the only battle we got. This is it, other than the battle of the sodas.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really, it's pretty wide and spread out. If it happens to get a race that stays green for this long, the only one we could focus on quickly, I believe, would be Jeff Chandler and Jose Acosta. They're within a second of each other, according to timing and scoring. That's the 42 and the 31. If we could hop back there for a second, we could find that battle. But
we have a wreck. We car wrecking. 84. Caution. There it is.
Well.
84. Waldo Walden brings out the caution flag with 25 laps to go. Derek, this is easy. We don't need to be mathematicians and we don't need to be crew chiefs. They're all pitting for 4 tires.
Are they?
I would hope so.
Are they?
I don't think it would be crazy.
You mean to tell me that no one's going to think about doing 2 tires?
If you tell me.
It depends on where I am so let's be serious. It depends on where I am in the lineup here. If I'm an Abner Acosta in P6, if I'm a Jose Acosta, a Jeff Chandler, a Robert Bissell, obviously I've not shown that I have the setup or the speed to beat Dinkel purely on speed. Once again, less than, better than, or different than. Now it's time to be but different than and take a 2-tire run and see if you can move up the track and maybe make something happen. I would try it out. You have nothing to lose here, especially Abner Costa said he has nothing to lose. He's not going to win the points title. He's just trying to help his team. Well, the way you help your team is by winning points and making big moves. Let's see what happens here.
Let's take a look at the replay here of what happened to the 40, the 84. That looks okay.
Like a wheel malfunction?
Yeah, maybe an equipment issue. That brought the caution. I'm not mad. You know, cautions are good in my book. But
Abner Costa's 4 tires. I can tell you that, so we can mark that.
Oh, I thought James O'Brien was going to beat the 9 off. How many cars take the wave around here and don't pit to get their lap back, praying for another caution to maybe have a tire advantage?
I would probably do that because likely the only chance you're going to get a lap back, and if you're wrong, so what? You're going to hang on the back of the lead lap. Like, what do you have to lose here? I would do it. So if you're someone like Charles Sumner, a Jose Medina, you know, a Ken Olland, if you're in that spot where you can get the wave around, I would try it out. Like I said, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, you see Trent there talking to his teammates. I got to agree with Nick there. You know, he parked it on the apron. There were no secondary racks. He was way below the racing groove. I'm not a big fan. And by the time it was triggered, he was towed into his pit box. So, not a fan that was thrown.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, though. And I don't know if this was an iRacing caution or an admin caution, to be honest with you. But if it was an admin caution, we talked earlier about the difficulties of admin cautions. Look at that, by the way. Trent Dinkle I couldn't tell which one there. But when you're a driver admin, you have to take the word, hey, we have a car who's hit a wall. We have a car who's off the track. We have a car who slung it way left. Sometimes you have to play it safe, put the caution out, and not let it get worse before you put that caution out. So I understand why the call is not popular, but sometimes when you make a decision like that, you're thinking about what could happen, even if it doesn't.
I think it was iRacing that threw it. Okay,
well, then blame iRacing. I don't care. You know what? Go for it.
Yeah. So Nick posted in here to us that he didn't throw it. So yeah, I'm curious there. That was it's something he didn't want to see. We wanted to see it. I'm not mad. The caution came out. I'm quite thankful for it. Now we're going to see it.
That might be the first smile I've seen Trent Dinkle have all night, by the way. Apparently he thrives on this competition, because that's the first time I've seen him crack a smile in all the onboards we've done so far.
Well, maybe he's listening to us. Maybe he knows that we're talking about him, and he's on camera. He wanted to give us a little bit of a smile there. Or maybe somebody told something really funny in there. I don't know what Discord he's sitting in, but if he's sitting there with the certain people that I know he's probably sitting in there with, there was probably some extracurricular activities in that room. I'm sure Nick knows what I'm alluding to here.
All right, so now as we look at the lineup here, it's not much different than where we were before this caution. We Dinkle up front, O'Brien second, Eric Hogg, Pat Harvey, Johan back in fifth, Abner Acosta. So Jeff Chandler's up there. So not too many different names, honestly. So no one took that risk that I thought they would take. No one took the 2-tire challenge and went for it. So now we're going to wait for the pace car to pull down. Of course, the Geico restart zone rules from iRacing are in effect. So that means they have to maintain that pace speed until they hit that zone. But we'll wait and see what happens here.
It's going to be very interesting to see how aggressive we get.
I mean, for some guys, this is their only chance to be aggressive. This is for Pat Harvey, for Eric Hogg, even probably for Johan. This is your only chance, unless there's another caution. You have to be aggressive here.
9 cars took the wave around there, took the strategy call that I thought would be very interesting to see if maybe we do get a second caution flag to wave over the Texas Motor Speedway for the penultimate round of the NASCAR Cup Series for the PRL. They come to the Geico restart zone here. Trent Dinkel's got the field. He's hard on the loud pedal. We're green flag racing again with 20 laps to go.
Look at that. As O'Brien and Eric Hogg are battling, that left a little bit of cleaner air for Trent Dinkel. He said he loves that clean air. Right now, he's taking advantage of it.
Looks like Pat Harvey smacked the wall. There goes Abner Acosta to the inside. 2 cars break away from the field. It's 2x2, third on back. They're going to continue to battle it out here. The rest of the field starts to single it out through the mid-pack. You see a little bit more side-by-side there. Clean start, no black flag. It was actually Jose Acosta that maybe caught the wall right there. A lot of drivers trying the outside lane, going all the way up against the wall. This could become a very messy race if we start having more dive bombs like we've seen in the mid pack.
Yeah, it could be a messy race, but right now it's all mostly single filed out. A couple 2-wide battles, but we're back to that single file racing, and obviously Trent Dinkel is perfectly fine with that restart because he's back out in the lead here by almost 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, 0.2 of a second lead. You look back here with Jeff Chandler slid to that 8th place position. He was having a decent run. Still up here inside that top 10 as Robert Vesal Jr. takes the high lane, almost gets to the top of AT&T Stadium to make a pass here to stay inside the top 10 as the new fastest lap. Eric Hogg with a 29.5, almost flat 0.9. Not the craziest thing is, well, fresh tires and a lot of confidence will do that for you.
And a lot of draft.
And well, that too. There's a lot of that going on here as this conga line continues to ride around here as the 3rd car in line trying to catch the toe off of James O'Brien, who's trying to catch the toe off of Trent Dinkel. It's a 0.2 second. There's another one. We finally correct the 29.4s.
At this point, Eric Hogg is just racing himself. And important to note, by the way, that gap between Hogg and Trenton Dinkel is closed within a second. So if he keeps setting down laps like that, let me go take a look at Dinkel's last lap. Give me a second here.
29.485.
So even though Hogg is turning fast laps, Dinkel is right there with him. So it's still going to be hard to catch that lead. Now, Vesal says, let me play this game.
Yeah, we're going to tit for tat on who puts the fastest lap time down. As Vesal figured that he would be the one to do it as he goes out there and puts the 29.436 down. But that time by, Hogg was still faster. O'Brien was a little bit slower than Trent Dinkel, but they're still running 29.4s. You see a little bit further back here with Chandler fighting Lou Christian. You've got Hudson out here on the outside in a nice place position. There's a lot of good battles going around here as Jeff Chandler is absolutely fighting for dear life to hold on for a top 10.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, Jeff Chandler started at 15th, made his way up to 8th here, and is still battling to stay inside that top 10. That's a good run so far at this track. So, yeah, good job there. Of course, we're now starting lap 137. Not that many laps left to go here. So if you want to make a move or if you want to get aggressive, time is slowly ticking away.
They're coming down to 13 to go. Driver's going to have to make a move. They're going to have to make a move fast. You see the battle is 31-21. This is for 10th. They had a little contact made there on the last lap. Getting awful close to each other here as they come drag racing to the line. Still going to go to Luke Christian there. Just by the smallest of margins. Puts him into 10th as he sails it off into turn 1. Made that thing stick and he cleared him.
That's what I said wow for it. He just made a power move there and made it stick. That's the confidence of the grip and the track and everything. But if 31's having a hard time, he's now going to give up the inside to the 26. So he's getting passed on both sides. And when that happens to you as a driver, Terry, it's so frustrating. Because you're like, man, I can't pass him on the inside. I can't not get past on the outside. Like, what do I do? That's hard to get your head wrapped around sometimes.
If you look up here at the battle for the race lead, this is for the win. Teammates not going to wreck each other, not going to fight each other too hard. O'Brien versus Dinkel. I think O'Brien sort of kind of knows that Trent's faster. He doesn't want to go up here and put a fight and let the 89 of Eric get back into this fight. No sense in it. Just sit up here and ride with each other, play some good defense. This would lock the championship up here with this race win. He had it last week. Thought he locked it. This even more solidifies it. Next week's just going to be come have fun, come race. The battle for third and the points will be there, but there's no contesting Trent Dinkel.
No, probably not. Dinkel looks to have everything wrapped up here, and of course next week is Charlotte. It's it's the final race. It'll be the night before the holiday, the Monday holiday. So a great way to relax and just have some fun next week on that long 3-day weekend here in the States. And great is to come in and claim your title and celebrate.
Be a good time to claim that title and just celebrate. But we can count the chickens before they hatch, because, well, it looks as if the win is right there. The championship is locked.
With P2 and points not here tonight, I don't see how it's not locked unless well, I don't want to say that. Unless Trinklewood somehow not score points tonight or something, I don't see how it happens. I don't see how it's not locked up just based on points he can earn here tonight. So, like I said, the battle next week will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probably will be what we'll focus on in the broadcast, because that's going to be the only battle. I think Trent Dinkel will have himself in a spot mathematically, even if he doesn't show up next week. I think he's good.
We're about to see a 3-way fight right here for the top 4. As Acosta goes to the bottom. It's 3 by 2. Oh my gosh, it looks like a bunch of fighter jets is down. It's 3 wide again. Back to 2 wide. Oh, and we're forcing Beastall forced it in.
I mean, that's what I expected for most of this race, Terry. That's what I thought was going to be the race here back on lap 5 or lap 4, not lap 144. I thought we were going to be there for most of the race. That battle right there, 3 wide, 2 wide, and passing and lanes, and that's what I expected to see for this whole race.
Yeah, same. And it has been a single file race, up until the first caution flag came out, with 25 laps to go. And everybody came down pit lane, and now we've just, went green again. And the lone caution was an absolute freak accident where screen or some equipment malfunction in the sim rig went black, or some sort. He went into the wall and just parked it, towed back to pit lane. Didn't intentionally stop on the racetrack, just stopped below the white line, and the caution triggered. But the only battle we've got right now is between Abner Acosta and the 12 machine of Simon and Aro. It's almost a 3-way fight again to the outside. We could have saw Chris Hudson maybe jump up there and go the Larson line. He's not going to do it, but Abner's brother shoved him in the corner.
Can I talk about how good of luck we are, by the way? As you know, PRL has rules for time limits or lap counts. Thursday night, F3 race, we did a lap count and not time. And Terry, here we are again. We're going to finish minutes ahead of the hour and 30-minute time limit on this race. I think you and I are good luck.
I think we are as well, and it's crazy to think that we technically have 11 minutes that we can lock this race in before we finish it on time. As you take a look at second, there goes Eric Hag. He's trying to get James O'Brien's spot, but we're slotted to finish this in 1:37. So I feel like we are good time as well. Let's look right here, get this fight going on for second as the 89 clears, and now look at that Hornets left behind. Thank gosh we're coming to 2 laps to go, because this might be the caution if we wanted to get another one right there in that nest for the 6th place position. And it is wild. Now we're going 3 wide again.
By the way, if you love this racing and you're making, man, I want to do that, PRL is currently open for registration for Season 3. So if you want to head over to their website, Precision Racing League, or find them on Discord, they are currently accepting registrations for the Cup Series, for F3s, for Xfinities and trucks, and GT4. So if you want to be part of this, you can. Just go look them up. But we're about to come here to the white flag here, and Trent Dinkel looks to have this all wrapped up.
We go on board with the driver of the number 9. He has a 2-second lead over Eric Hogg as Pat Harvey just got around James O'Brien for 3rd. Your top 3 has changed. Now it is flopped back to the 33. The fight's going to be for that position. But down the back straightaway for the final time into turns 3 and 4 for Trent Dinkel. Hello championship as of last week. Hello race winner at Texas. Trent Dinkel gets it done and hands off the wheel as he crosses the line.
Number 6 on the season. What a great way to go.
That's how you get number 6, as Pat Harvey's going to clear there for the 3rd place position. On back further, O'Brien Besaw. This was a very solid race. There's the 37 of Eric Papanow. He's going to come in here a little further on back in 22nd, 3 laps down. Not necessarily what he wanted to see, but I will say, to caveat off of your point that season registration is up, you could potentially race with me on Wednesday nights. Just take a look at your finishing results here. Trent Dinkel, Eric Hogg, Pat Harvey, James O'Brien, Robert Besaw Jr., Johan Seminaro in 6th, Chris Hudson, Abner Acosta, Jose Acosta, and Lou Christian rounds out your top 10. P11 is going to go to Mike Witt, Jeff Chandler, Chad Kibbe, Charles Sumner, Jose Medina, Troy Torgerson, Penn Aland, Tristan Callahan, Rusty Robinson, and Rafael Rodriguez rounds out the top 20. Your remaining finishers here in the used car lot: Tom Amacy, Eric Papanow, Joshua Daniels, Skip Gandy, Waldo Walden, Jay McDonald, and Richard Pruitt. 147 laps down. Shotgun on the field in 27th. I think we have our 2nd place driver standing by for the interview. We'll grab him real quick. And Derek, it sounds like you got the interview here.
All right. Well, after an exciting 150 laps, we're here with the P2, which is Eric. Eric Hogg, congrats tonight on P2. Talk to me about that race. How did it feel with running those nighttime laps?
Oh man, the set felt awesome tonight. Huge thanks to John Jones and Dan helping me in the team channel. They really helped me keep calm to those longer runs, and especially that last run. Just telling me to push for everything I had. I had a good long run car, but I was getting killed in the short run, and was able to take advantage of it. Had a lot of fun racing with a 33, and we both kept it straight this time.
So the last few laps, I think the last 10 maybe, it felt like 2nd through probably 6, you guys were just 2 wide and 3 wide. And how was that? How chaotic was that? Were you nervous in that moment, or was that like the most fun part of the race for you?
Oh, it's fun, but your heart's racing, especially that late in the race. 1 and 2 has so much room, but it's so hard to get on throttle and stay on throttle. 3 and 4, you have a little bit more room, but the car tends to tighten up quite a bit. So usually the car on the outside can hold the momentum, and it's fun. When everyone survives, it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, next week, the season finale at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. What are you looking forward to?
Hopefully something similar. For some reason, these 1.5 miles I have been pretty good at, and I did pretty well at Texas. I know they're a little bit different tracks, but hopefully I can carry the momentum for a strong end of the season.
All right. Well, congrats on P2 tonight. Anyone you want to say hello to or thank you to before we head out?
I'd like to say hello to my Aunt Lisa, who tends to watch all these races and supports my sim racing hobby and gets some enjoyment. So I'll say hi to her, and then say hi to my girlfriend Natalie if she's watching.
There you go. Well, that is the number 89 driver. Eric Hogg finished P2 tonight, Terry. And that's we'll go back to you.
Yeah, we'll grab our race winner, Trent Dinkel, and I guess we'll say season 2 champion as well. Trent, you didn't make it easy on him. You led every lap that was green. The only time you got past, well, you were on pit road.
Yeah, that was a good race. Johan was pretty damn quick at the start. I mean, he probably made me drive up quite a bit harder than I wanted to, but I also did not want to lose the lead because the dirty air was so bad. I just wanted to stay out front. And then, he fell off pretty hard on that second run, just trying to push to get up to get around me. And obviously, it's just so hard to pass here. And then, it was just kind of between me and James. And I mean, yeah, I just made sure I stayed out front. The caution at the end was kind of lame. I mean, I don't know why you would stop on the apron and disconnect, but that's kind of lame-o. But yeah, I took 2 tires at the end just to make sure I kept the lead, and I mean, it paid off. I was flying. The car felt just planted. I was just flat out all the way around the track. So I'm really happy with it. It's super cool to lock the championship up, before we go to Charlotte. Kind of bummed that Matt and all those guys weren't here, because I think it would have been a fun race with them here, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. And yeah, it was a good year. Good season, I guess.
Well, Nick Hunter posted that you look like PC Principal from South Park. I can't unsee that now. I'm a fan. What are you benching at the gym nowadays?
Not enough. I need more steroids.
I mean, I said tonight you look like maybe you drink a half a thing of protein powder and just smash your head up against the wall.
I mean, you're half right. I did drink a whole thing of protein powder before the race started.
That's why you're so hyper. Got it.
Yeah.
I need your
hyper.
energy.
Yeah. And some days it's not there. But yeah, I'm happy. It was a second championship. The first one kind of stung since I lost the playoffs doing it. But, big, good win for Private Label and Ethica and all the guys. I think we're probably going to have the team one locked up again, too. So, we'll go to Charlotte and try and win that one too, I guess.
Sounds like a good idea, and I get good sources that you run one of the best setups, one of the best setup shops on iRacing too. So,
Yep.
who am I?
Terry?
Yeah. Who am I just to throw a good plug out there for EPI?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows?
There you go. So yeah, I joined them not that long ago. I've been really happy with running their stuff. I mean, I've gained like 800 iRating and official since Dover, so something's working over there.
Something definitely is working. I think a certain Michael Conti races the setups too. But congratulations, Trent. You're Season 2 2023 NASCAR PRL Cup Series champion. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. We're not going to get P2 or P3 Pat Harvey, it seems. So we'll wrap this up. Derek, we'll go to final thoughts right here. What did you think of the racing, and foreshadow what Charlotte's going to look like?
Well, I think as the song teaches us, the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas, and that's what happened tonight. I had a good time here watching these guys try to make passes and keeping it close. As far as Charlotte next week, I suspect it'd be a little closer, a little bit more chaotic, and we'll see who can come away. Obviously, we think he has the points title wrapped up, but we'll see 2nd through 6 if they can get it all gathered up and who comes away with that personal victory.
Going to be interesting to see. You can catch the PRL. Actually, we did get Pat Harvey. We'll see if we can smash him real quick before I do this. We'll make this one quick. Pat, P3, how'd it feel?
Hey, thanks for having me. It felt good. I feel like I don't know what Trent and those guys are doing. Those guys are fast, but no cautions. I feel like saving tires. That's what I'm best at. So that kind of helps. So once you get out of the first few laps of a run, that it started feeling good. Not too much trouble, but yeah, saving tires did the trick.
Well, what do you got to do next week?
Probably the same. Hopefully the same. Anywhere that tire saving helps is somewhere I like to be. So I haven't raced Charlotte very much, but I feel like it's a fun track. So hopefully we can go caution free again. Do the same.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. That's Pat Harvey, P3 here tonight, but number 1 in everybody's hearts, I'm sure.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Sir, I'll go back to my ending there. You can catch PRL Sunday through Thursday right here on RaceSpot.tv. We'll catch you next Sunday, same time, same place, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for Charlotte. Will be the season finale there. Y'all have a good rest of your night. For Derek Watson, my name's Terry Radford. Mike was our producer, and Nick Hunter was our special in-race guy. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. Good night, and so long.